Good morning all, it's Postbag, and let's start with this one, which is from a UK seller. I'm going to cut carefully there because it's wires. In fact, it's just bits of wire. Wow, that's laid out really neatly, isn't it? So yes, this is little bundles of wire, 3 meters in each coil. Now there are 11 colours, red, orange, pink, green, yellow, blue. Flip it over and we've got white, black, grey, purple and brown. Now the markings or the indications here are that it's 0.6 millimeter. Now what I want to know is that any thicker or less thick than this wire, which I tend to use, which is years old, which I got from Maplin. I'd quite like it if they were the same thickness. Well, there's only one way to tell whether they are. Well, only one way for me because I don't have a micrometer, and that's to use the Arduino Peak Geek Ruler, which is a total rip-off of the Adafruit Geek Ruler, but then I guess Adafruit open source everything, so they really can't do much about it. But so what I'm going to do is poke the wires through these holes. Now these are, I think they're AWG, yes, American wire gauge, so it's slightly different to standard wire gauge, which is a peculiarly British thing. But I guess I don't think there's a huge difference between AWG and SWG. So I'm just going to measure these in terms of AWG and see if my old wire is the same as this new wire. So I've still got a fair bit of this old wire, but I just, for this new breadboard computer, I didn't want to use all this up in one go and then find that I was short, which is why I bought the new stuff. So in the old stuff I've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, black, white and brown. But yeah, anyway, let's check these sizes now. So I'll just tear this yellow one out. They've kind of heat sealed this, which is quite interesting. It makes for a very neat presentation. Okay, let's get this yellow one out and then I'll compare it thickness of the wire with the old white one there. That's really weird. This is really springy. It's like a slinky. It won't actually stay coiled up. How strange. It's really springy wire. Totally different to the old stuff, which is kind of really rigid and not springy. Anyway. Right, I think I'll use these wicks, cutters and strippers for this particular job. Let's cut a little bit off and on the other wire. So what I do is I just tend to sort of work it like this until it's straight. This one I think you can go on the second hole. Yeah, so that works. Let's do this white one as well. And then check the relative AWGs. Yeah, this one definitely feels thicker, this older wire. Well, the new wire is a reasonably good fit into the 22 SWG hole, if I can get that back in there. But it doesn't quite make it through the 23. I can't make it fit through there, so I think that is definitely 22 SWG. There's a little bit of wobble there. The old wire, I think, must be ever so slightly thicker. That is an interference fit in the 22. It does go in, but it's just ever so slightly tighter. So this is probably an SWG wire gauge. That won't go in the 23 either. So they're pretty much identical, to be honest. And in super macro mode, you can probably see that the older white wire is ever so slightly thicker, but I don't think it's a major issue. It just needs to be thicker than the really thin stuff, which tends to wobble around in the holes of the breadboard. So I tend to use this blue wire also because I've got lots of it, and that definitely is thinner again. I can't remember what the size of that is. Let's try it on the AWG ruler. And yeah, that one fits through the 24 AWG. Now that's assuming, of course, that the drill holes in this ruler are accurately sized, but they do look pretty good on there. They look like they're reasonably accurately drilled. Yeah, that blue one is 24 AWG. Now, often I feel that this blue one is a little bit too thin for breadboards, so the new wire certainly is going to be suitable. It's kind of midway between the thin blue and the thicker white. But yeah, I think this new wire is going to be fine on breadboard. That is quite a nice positive tight fit in there. So I don't think we'll have any problems with poor connections. Yeah, I think that stuff's perfect. Now, it came from mechatronicsonlineshop.co.uk. I had to buy this from a UK seller because you just cannot get single core wire of this sort of thickness from China. It doesn't exist. So you can get... that's interesting. There's a box of 30 meters of 22 AWG silicon wire. Now, is that solid core? 5-color mix box from Hong Kong. I didn't see that one. There are plenty of similar sort of things from the United States, but of course, if you buy from the USA to the UK, the postage costs are enormous. From Hong Kong, you can get this wire wrapping wire, 30 AWG though, which is very, very thin. Yes, 30 AWG is 0.25 millimeters, so that's just quarter of a millimeter. That's very, very thin. That's not going to be suitable for breadboard. 23 AWG is 0.57. 22 is down here. 22 AWG, and I can't see which is millimeters. Yes, it's which is SWG. That's SWG, the second column. So 22 SWG is 0.7, 22 AWG is 0.64, and that's about ideal, I think, for breadboard. Once you get up to 0.8 mil and 0.9 mil, it's getting a bit thick, to be honest. Okay, this one from Hong Kong is not what I thought it was. It's quite expensive actually, $16 or something, but this is stranded copper. So it's not the solid single core that you actually want. So this is the one I bought. It's 33 meters, so that's 11 lots of 3 meters of solid single core hookup wire, 11 colors for breadboard, Arduino strip board. This was £5.95. I bought it in pounds. I'm actually on ebay.com at the moment. That's showing as $7.62. Even on ebay.com, it insists on putting my postcode in here. So I've had to change that to W1A1AA, which I think was an old BBC postcode. Seem to remember that from years ago. Very annoying that. This thing came from Hemel Hempstead, which actually is only just up the road anyway. And this was from Mechatronics Online. Right, this one related, I think. Let's take a quick look. Yes, this is a wire jumper kit. Now, this is the only way you can buy 22 AWG solid core wire from China, it seems. So yeah, this is quite a neat little box actually. I was having trouble finding neat little boxes a while back. This one's one of the neatest ones I've seen. I quite like that. Yes, it's a wire jumper kit with sort of pre-bent wire links, all bent. So actually not ideal if you want to do this sort of thing, where you want to loop it over and you want the ends of the wires straight. But yeah, these are pre-bent, so they lie flat on your breadboard. Of course, you don't have all sizes here, and you don't have all colors. So in some ways, it's probably easier to buy the solid core wire and make this sort of thing up for yourself. Let me just check the size of these on the, what's it called? The Arduino Geek ruler, was it? Arduino Peak. And yeah, that's a good solid sort of fairly interference fit through the 22 AWG. So this is good, thick, nice quality breadboard jumper wire. What would be quite nice actually is if they supplied some of these pre-formed which fit across here in red and black, so that you can link the buses together. That one doesn't seem to be the right length, and I don't think there's anything else that would be the right length to do that jumper. So yeah, basically it's down to yourself. You got to make them up yourself. Now for the little link wires that go from the last hole in a row across to a power rail, I've been tending to use this, which is a big reel of 24 SWG tinned copper wire, which I got from Rapid Electronics, which is a UK supplier. So of course it's SWG UK spec. So what I do is I kind of pull that so it's straight, try and find my cutters, cut off, I don't know, about 2 and a bit centimeters, and then I've discovered that my pliers just happen to be exactly the right bend size, so I bend it over my pliers like that, and then that is ideal for linking a row to either negative, which would be at the bottom, or equally the end of a row to positive, which would be at the top. If you're having to link at the bottom to positive, then you just nudge it in a row like so, or you would just have to bend a slightly narrower one, and I think the narrower one just happens to fit across the other width of my pliers. Oh, I've got to try that. I think I'm right. Bend that one like that, and then does that fit across there? Yeah, kind of near enough. Very versatile pliers. So the jumper kit is a 140 pieces. Not sure whether that includes the case. Probably not. Solderless breadboard jumper cable wire kit box DIY shield. Why is it a shield? For Arduino. That was $2.74 free shipping. And that came from Survey 2014. And look, on eBay.com, when you buy stuff from China, doesn't plaster your postcode all over the page. Right, here's another one. I thought I'd show the front of this because it's got some nice Hong Kong stamps on there. Hong Kong, China, of course. Bit of a giveaway. I've written breadboard on it. What's on the back? Board times one, $6 from Hong Kong. So let's take a look at this. It's a slightly different breadboard from the very cheap ones I bought. Now, I can't remember who recommended that I get this one. I'm going to try and look it up actually, because I think it probably is a good recommendation. This is one of these breadboards with round holes as opposed to square ones. So this just fell out. It says it's from VCCIO and it has an item number. Oh, and a date. If you pull the backing off this, there's actually a strip of metal in here. I think it's metal, or is it just... No, I think that's actually metal. Don't know whether that's... It looks like aluminium. Yeah, I don't know why that's there. It doesn't really strengthen anything on here. It's got the usual self-adhesive back. That corner's got a bit notched. So what I might do is I might peel that back and just lift out one of the joining strips to take a look at the funneling, how wide it opens out, so how easily you can get a wire in. But let's try putting that bit of yellow looped wire that I made in there. So you've also got the advantage that these holes have a sort of funneled shape even in the plastic, so it guides your wire in, and that's a nice tight fit. There is a bit of resistance there actually, and when I first did it I kind of bent the wire as I put it in. There was a bit of resistance there, but yeah, I think that's a nice solid fit. So I do think this is a higher quality breadboard, but I'm going to have to lift one of these metal strips out to take a look at it. Yes, this self-adhesive stuff didn't really want to be peeled back, so it's all got broken up a bit, but all in the interests of checking the quality of this thing. Now I've got to dig my knife into there. Maybe it'll go in the other end a bit easier, and try and... Oh, it's sticking. It's very sticky, I'll give it that. Try and lift this thing out. Can I rock it and then get in at that end? Yes, I think I can. Out you come. I want to look at your funneling. Okay, let's have a close look at that. Well, yes, that's interesting. It probably is a bit higher quality. It's the one on the left that came out of the board with the round plastic holes. The one on the right is out of one of those cheap 400 tie point holes that I just got from Alice. The one on the right seems to have rounder kind of holes, so you need thicker wires to make a good contact on that one. The one on the left has much narrower sort of rounding, on the tightest point of the grip, it doesn't actually widen out quite as much as the cheap one, but it probably doesn't matter when the hole in the plastic is circular and more accurately placed. But yeah, that's interesting to see those two side by side. Well, now I'm going to have to carve this detritus away, otherwise this thing's never going to sit flat. So I have made a bit of a mess of that. Yeah, not ideal. Let's just have a closer look at these round holes. So yes, I think you can see that they are a bit nicer than the square ones. Also, the quality of the printing there, the red and the blue lines and the numbers, is really tip top. What about the letters up at the top? Yeah, I mean, this is a nice quality breadboard. It has these square sort of dovetail holes on the sides, and these snap in and out like so. It doesn't have any connectors on the ends, so you can't stack these end to end unless you're going to mount them down on a board. What I did notice is when I peeled that corner back, there is a circular hole in there, so you can put a screw into there up from underneath. There's no hole through on the top, although you might be able to drill one to line up with that possibly. So yeah, I'm going through these comments on my fake solderless breadboards video. I thought I'd try it with top comments, but I can't find the comment from the guy who said buy the one with the round holes. So I just want to mention his name, but I can't find it in there. I thought it was definitely one that I replied to. So I've been all the way through that and couldn't find where it was. So then what I thought I'd do is go to newest comments first, and it's probably one of the oldest comments because it would have been sort of on the day where I released the video and was sitting actually answering the comments as they came in. So now I'm going to have to just scroll through the whole lot. I think there are about 380 or something comments. But this is why I often don't credit people who make very sensible suggestions, because I just can't find the original comment. I'll keep looking. Well, no, I can't find it. I've just scrolled all the way to the bottom and it doesn't have a load more button, so that appears to be it. And I simply can't find the name of the guy who suggested I get this breadboard. So sorry, I can't mention you, but thanks anyway for the excellent idea. It does look like a very nice breadboard. Ah, here it is, look, my notepad where I wrote down the names of people who make useful suggestions. It was Anjay V, so thanks very much, Anjay. Anyhow, this is the item. It's a solderless breadboard EIC 1102 830 point round hole prototyping DIY electronics. This is $5.50, free shipping, and this came from VCCIO. And I still don't know what this strip of metal is for. It seems to be glued onto the cardboard base. I mean, maybe you just stick this onto the self-adhesive backing to give it a little bit more, I don't know, weight or rigidity or something. Definitely metal, but can't fathom that one out. Right, let's have an old one to finish. This has been hanging around for ages. I've got to be careful because it's wires. But if I don't do this one now, I'll never do it. Oh, I'll have to cut that with scissors. And that's kind of ruined the bag that they were supplied in, which is a bit of a shame because that's a really nice thick one. And I do like to keep the thick polythene bags. But anyway, this is 50 pieces of 2-wire JST cables with the little PCB mounting sockets. I can't remember what length they are, but they look fairly short. About 100 mil, probably, something like that. Okay, they are 120 millimeters end to end. So what's that, about 4.5, 5 inches, something like that. Now, I think the reason I bought these was something to do with Arduinos having these connectors on the raw and ground pins, which happen to be right next to each other, and that meaning that you could use sort of a 9-volt battery holder. These ones actually came with JSTs already fitted. Are these the same polarity? Yep, they are. You can pull the leads out and swap them over, but it's handy to have the polarity right to start with. So yeah, something to do with putting power to little gadgets like my OLED ammeter using JSTs for the power. So these ones are from 2016. The seller I bought them from is no longer selling them, so it's a very old package that's been hanging around for 6 months. These are, so what I did, I searched for something very similar, same price. Oh, these are with 150mm wire. Oh, well, that seems like a pretty good deal. You can cut a bit off. 50 sets, JST XH, which means the 0.1 inch pin spacings, or 2.54mm pin spacings. 2-pin battery connector, plug male, female, with 150mm wire. $2.69 for all 50 of those, with the sockets as well. Free shipping, and these ones are from Crazy 2017. And so these are today's Postbag items. Now, a couple more videos up there if you like watching my videos. Subscribe button down here if you want to subscribe to my channel. And this button takes you through to Patreon. Thanks very much to people who donate on Patreon. It makes Postbag possible. And there are now some Patreon-only videos that you can watch if you're a Patreon supporter. Cheerio.